You know, the Odyssey is coming out here. It's on its way. And I think like a lot of you guys probably already have your tickets for it. And we have now gotten our first box office projections for what they're thinking Odyssey was going to make. And right now, they're saying it's a pretty wide range. It's from 80 to $100 million. So up to 100 million. They're saying for the opening weekend of the Odyssey, which would be massive. Because if it does come in at $100 million, that would be the biggest opening weekend for any Christopher Nolan directed film that didn't have a character named Bruce Wayne in it. Because if we go over and take a look at all the films of Christopher Nolan that he's directed, these are the biggest opening weekends. His movie Dunkirk shocked the world by making $50 million on opening weekend. A lot of people did not think it would open that big. Inception had a $62 million opening weekend. Oppenheimer had an $82 million opening weekend. Then, of course, you got The Dark Knight at $158 million. The Dark Knight Rises at $160. But there's something I want to point out about that Oppenheimer number. That Oppenheimer number, it was 82. They were projecting for Oppenheimer. Now, normally projections are like within 2 or 3%. Like that's how good these box office projections usually are. They're usually within 2 or 3% of what it gets. But Oppenheimer was originally projected to make in the 50-something million dollar range opening weekend, and it went on to make 82. So now, again, according to Deadline, they're saying those projection numbers are upwards of $100 million. Again, guys, that would represent the biggest opening of Christopher Nolan's career in anything other than a Batman film, which would be huge. And then, of course, on top of all that, you have to take in consideration what happened with Oppenheimer. Christopher Nolan films are very difficult to kind of peg on how they're going to open. The same thing happened with Inception. The same thing happened with Dunkirk, where they were projecting one number, ended up coming. So them projecting up to $100 million right now, I mean, who knows? Maybe it could be $110, $120 million at the moment, especially when you consider how these movies have been already selling out screenings. They were selling out screenings a year before the movie opened. Remember that? Last summer, they put on sale the tickets for IMAX screenings on the opening day of the movie, and the opening day only, I believe. And they like sold out in minutes. And then they put the tickets back on sale again. And when the full tickets went on sale just a few weeks ago, websites like AMC started to get crashing down. They started to chug. Like I would go to AMC's website to try to buy tickets for something else. And it's like, sorry, you're in queue to get onto the website. You're going to be in line for 25 minutes. I'm like, well, I just want to get on the site. I'm not even trying to buy a ticket for the Odyssey right now. Anyway, Rob, couple of questions for you here on this. What do you think about this projection? Again, if it does come in at that $100 million mark, that'll be the biggest Christopher Nolan directed film that didn't involve Batman. Do you think it's going to come in at that number? Higher, lower, whatever? And how are you feeling? What's your anticipation level like for the Odyssey right now?
Well, I mean, Christopher Nolan's such a world-class filmmaker, and, the bugaboo of verisimilitude comes up. I just love watching his movies. However, I don't know if this movie is going to necessarily outgross or open bigger than a Batman movie. I just can't see that happening, although he's got a much bigger audience now than he had when the Batman movies were opening. So capturing the hearts of Gen Z with Interstellar.
Read my mind with Gen Z.
Yeah, I mean, that Interstellar is like, if there's one movie that Gen Z seems to universally embrace, it is Interstellar, and he made it. But I see that this is a big question mark. I mean, it's so funny. There's been talk about, well, the armor's not period accurate. Well, the story wasn't period accurate. There's gods in it.
Clear.
I mean,
nobody on the planet Earth fucking cares whether the armor is specifically accurate. But Joe and Tina Smith, who live down the road, average film goers, don't give two gasps of ass fart about whether or not, the color of the armor should have been that.
I think there might be.
Oh, there might be.
Nobody cares. Like nobody cares. Anyway.
But I mean, this is a story that was passed down via oral tradition. This is not a historical. This didn't happen.
Yeah, it's a myth.
It's a myth. It's not real.
A myth.
So, but I am
Guys,
curious.
Helena of Troy did not really hatch out of an egg. Okay? It's a
only one
myth.
take, John. Come on. I do, every time I see a trailer, it has this movie has, as the kids say, an aura around it, John. And I'm aura farming, yes, but I think that this movie's going to do quite well. I mean, everybody wants to see it. People bought tickets to see it in 15 perf 70 millimeter IMAX a year ago. I think the anticipation for this movie is incredibly high. I think it's definitely one of the highlights of the summer, and I think it's going to do really, really, really well. I just think that obviously it's not a 4-quadrant movie. I mean, I might have been clamoring to see the Odyssey when I was 8 years old, but I can't imagine many of today's kids are tugging on their father's slack saying, "Dad, take me to the Odyssey." So I don't think it's going to do Toy Story numbers, but I think it's going to do very well.
Yeah, I don't think this is a film that is, I don't think it'll be $1 billion film. Remember, guys, it's an R-rated film. Only 2 movies in history, only 2 R-rated films in history have ever made over $1 billion. Right? And they were both comic book related films. You had Deadpool and Wolverine, and you had the first Joker film. And I don't know. I do know this. If any other R-rated film has the chance of joining those other 2, it might be the Odyssey. So we'll see. I think the best piece of marketing, and I don't know if you guys agree with this or not, the best piece of marketing they've done for this movie so far hasn't been any of the trailers. It's been that prelude with the Trojan horse.
Oh my God. So good.
Like, that has been the single best piece of marketing they've done. I
was
think
in from that moment.
Yeah, me too. And I don't think the trailers have been particularly bad. Don't get me wrong. But I also don't think the trailers, the official trailers, have been mind-blowing. I've been more sold on this movie because of that Trojan horse scene and the behind-the-scenes making of features that they've been putting out, like with how Christopher Nolan shot this on IMAX, with how everything was done on these crazy locations, about how they've done like the old school filmmaking on it. I'm sold on it. I can't wait, but
I even love how that horse is showing up in places.
I know.
Where did they just put it at Universal Studios Hollywood? They just brought
it was in Santa Monica. It was somewhere else before that, and then it was in Universal Studios Hollywood.
Yeah, so that's going to be pretty fun. Anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? They are right now projecting that the Odyssey will end up being the biggest opening weekend for a Christopher Nolan film without Batman in it, coming in about $100 million. But when you look at films like Dunkirk, when you look at films like Oppenheimer, Christopher Nolan films tend to have a habit of really exceeding their opening weekend projections. Do you think that'll be the case here? Do you think it'll be bigger than 100? Do you think it'll be lower than 100? Whatever you guys think about it, jump down into the comment section below and let us know your thoughts.